Going live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Academy of Man Podcast, episode number 5. My name is Joel Ruiz, and my co-host Edgar Moose Rios.
Yes.
We are here.
Episode 5, bro.
Episode 5. First of all, congratulations for reaching with me to number 5.
Oh, thanks, bro.
It's a matter of
congratulations to you too.
Thank you. It's a matter of consistency, and we want to first of all thank all of our listeners. You guys are the only ones that make this possible, and you guys are the reason why we do this.
The amount of support has been I've been taken back by it.
Yeah,
right. People reaching out and sharing their stories with me, and it's just a beautiful experience so far.
Yeah,
I'm so grateful.
First of all, me too. Just want to thank everyone, and we're looking forward to just continue doing this. The good thing about this podcast is that there are no limits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Anything can potentially be spoken of, as long as we philosophize on it.
Yeah.
But we want to welcome you to episode number 5, and hope you enjoy.
Yes.
All right, guys. So the topic for today, something that I wanted to bring in to the conversation. Let me get some water because it's gonna be a.
For the record, I am not always aware of the topics before the episode, so this is news to me also.
Yeah, and honestly, even though we want to say that we bring in a topic, there's multiple things that we got to discuss anyways.
Yeah. Because the topics that we tend to choose are never just like the zero-sum time.
Exactly.
It's always an onion.
Yeah.
We have to dissect and break down. And
so let's dissect this one. Our reality. Right?
What about it?
You ever watched the movie The Matrix?
Yes, but I was very young.
Understandable.
Yeah, I was very young. The
The particular reality that I would like to discuss specifically is our physical reality. Specifically, I had sent you a video, right?
Yeah.
About the universe, and something that I wanted to discuss is just the vastness of it.
Yeah.
The reality that us humans are in a ball,
Yeah.
right? That was made, who knows, some time ago by whatever. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Everything was already created by the time we got here.
Yeah, bro.
And so, but the mere fact that we exist, our existence,
Yeah.
the reality of it, the fact that we are conscious beings.
A very improbable coincidence.
Maybe, right?
Yeah. I noticed that. I remember the first time I got to see the first time I ever went camping. I was with the Outdoor Adventure Club at Herkimer College, and I remember we were at a place called Good Luck Lake or something like that. It was a clear night, bro.
Yeah.
Beautiful clear night, and we were just all chilling by the campfire. Some of the people were gonna graduate, so they were just kind of talking about what was next or whatever. Really nice moment. Then I go to one of my boys, and he's smoking by the lake, and I go sit next to him, and I look up for the first time, bro, to a clear sky. There's no trees overhead at the lake, right? So I got to see it, bro. Y pa que fue eso, bro? I was taken back by how small the sky made me feel, bro. I could see the Little Dipper. It was clear. It was just super clear. Yeah.
If you got to see the same thing that I saw on a clear sky in the woods that, bro. You would have seen the Milky Way, the fog that you see.
Yeah, no, I didn't get to see all that. I didn't get to see no colors or nothing like that.
No way.
No, all I saw was a bunch of dots.
Okay, I've seen the vastness of it, the fog behind it, the Milky Way, and it's crazy. We live in an age that us humans don't even get to see that, at its truest potential. which is wild because it's right above us,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's supposed to be seen, I guess. And we can't see it.
Yeah.
But you do get to see the entire thing. And I mean, when you really, bro, because we're nothing. We're just like smaller than an atom.
Yeah.
In
I agree with you.
in comparisons.
I agree with you. And depending on where my headspace is at, whenever I'm made aware of that, because I'm made aware of it often.
Yeah.
Because we live up here, and there's oftentimes I get to see the sky a little bit better than people in the city would. And so whenever I'm made aware of it, depending on where my headspace is, it's either very liberating and like fulfilling and exciting to think about, and other times it's very very opposite of that, very debilitating, and gives me what's the pointism,
of course.
And I just know that coming to that realization it's not always productive for me to look up.
I could see it. I could see that. I could see why you would say that. With me is always of. I think I get a mixture of both feelings. The reason why I say this, bring back Neil deGrasse Tyson, the GOAT.
The GOAT, yes.
When it comes
from the Bronx too. When it comes
to astrology, right?
Astrophysics.
Yeah. Excuse me. I don't want to get the lynch mob. Astrophysics. God. And just the mere fact that we're able to comprehend it, like the vastness of it.
I mean, barely, right? It's
That's true.
Most of it is unquantifiable by the human brain.
Not only unquantifiable, but almost also unreachable.
Yeah, we've only been able to identify that it is unreachable.
Correct.
Which there's a beauty in that. Pero
yeah.
There's very limits. There's a lot of limits to the knowledge of the universe.
For sure.
He would be the first to tell you that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which
a buddy of mine got to take the train with him.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't want to be acknowledged though. Yeah, they like locked eyes. My boy Justin pulled his mask down, and then he just winked at him and then put his palm up, and then kept it moving like he didn't want to.
Yeah.
He did not want to.
I can see that. I can see why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely get both emotions, where it's just like the vastness of it. So for example, the Milky Way, which is our galaxy, is going to collide with another galaxy called the Andromeda. When it will happen is going to be several 100 billion years. Mm-hmm. But it will happen just because of their trajectories, right? I will not be there to witness it.
You won't. Yeah, neither will I.
Neither will you, right?
Neither will Selma.
Huh? Most likely not.
Maybe not even the human race.
Maybe not even the human race.
Everything going on in the world, and
we either have left the Milky Way, or we have purged,
or destroyed it.
We can't destroy the Milky Way,
depending on who you ask, right?
What do you mean?
I meant just our Earth. Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, just perish.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, those are basically our two options, which is the whole sense why Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. The whole thing that he says is that we should be extra planetary species because of the odds that an asteroid
could just come in and delete us at any moment,
or a sun flare. Which, don't even get me started. Might as well. Actually, we will discuss it. Because we are talking about the galaxy and its universe. And I think there's such a beauty behind it. Because, for example, we know that the sun, our sun, will one day cease to exist. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the sun will become a red giant. No, excuse me. I'm going to have to say it, a red giant. So somebody can fact check me on this. Which means that it will continue to grow past its mass, right? Taking Venus and Mercury with it. And it will get so close to us that there should be no life left on planet Earth.
Mm.
Like the mathematics and the physics have already proven that,
Yeah.
which is wild, right? So then even though you and I won't be here, but we know that this is gonna be a fact.
Yeah.
When it will happen, several billion years from now, but it will happen, just because of the chemistry behind the sun, which is wild. So things like that make me just appreciate the fact that we can even acknowledge it, analyze it, discuss it, ponder upon our own existence,
Yeah.
because we know that this is gonna be a fact.
Yeah. What's interesting is that and I'm happy that this is what is making you think of that. Because oftentimes I think about what makes me a little bit more different than most kids or most guys my age, if you will, is my thought process behind things. And reason why I have the certain thought process behind things that I do is because I've been in touch with you, if you will, with my mortality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I almost died. And how I almost died is a whole other story. Pero I'm happy that the universe and our galaxies and all this stuff is what's forcing you to think about that. And I'm intrigued to this is what made you think about that. The vastness of our universe and our inability to comprehend all the things that are going to happen and are happening, and even the things that we could comprehend, is what's forcing you to live with the amount of grace that you're living with right now.
I mean,
I'm happy that that's the case for you, but it's so interesting because I personally know the amount of lived experience you have. Not even all of it, but it's just so interesting that the fact that the whole world is going to be gone is what does it for you, not just you. I think that speaks.
Yeah, I actually didn't really think about it that way. Just in case we lost the track. Edgar just said that he's happy that because of the vastness of the universe and its inevitable doom, gives me a certain sense of grace and understanding. But yeah, that's really what it is. It's because because it's physics.
Yeah.
It's truth.
That's very interesting. Once, when I was right before leaving work today, my boss asked me how's my religious journey going. How's my search for God going? I told him it's going great, bro. Thank you for asking. And he told me, he goes, what? Because I told him the two religions I was looking into the most is Islam and Christianity. And he asked me, what religion are you leaning more towards right now? And I said, Christianity, but I'm questioning my biases. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Hispanic. My friends are Hispanic, most of them. And I don't have enough of a Muslim or Islamic representation in my life. And I'm just making sure 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah.
And I'm making sure 3 + 1 = 4 too. And he's like, okay, why those two? And I told him, well, I think that it's all about kind of like which religion you could identify with the most. And he's like, why identify? Like, why you chose that word? And I was like, because I cannot quantify the love or the respect I would have for a God. I can't judge it based off of the same logic I choose to judge things that have matter and sit in this physical space. It's not based in the same reality that puts us in the same room. Correct. Right now. It's a faith-based thing.
For sure.
And I need to choose one that fills my heart. And I'm aware of the stakes of this, because if I join either one too early or too late, is doomed. Like, I'm not gonna be faithful to it. I think that it needs to be at a very specific point in order for me to commit to a religion. And I told them I'm not convinced yet by neither. And I'm a God-fearing person. I know there is one up there, but it's just like. But when you said judge, it made me think about that, because, and we were talking about reality and all this stuff, and I'm just like, there's certain things in our lives that we can't judge based off of the same reality that puts us in the same room together.
Correct.
And those are things that are like love and faith and.
Yeah. With religion, it's an interesting thing that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Because why do you feel like you have the need to identify with a religion?
I don't necessarily speaking. I don't necessarily think so. No, I don't. That's why I'm in no rush. I told him, I said, bro, if he's up there, he's gonna steer me the right way.
Yeah. And I think
I got as much faith as you do, bro. Trust me. It's just not. I'm not committed yet. I know that sounds like a paradox, and I know people are that might even trigger a lot of people, but I know it's up there. But he's working the way he want to work with me. And that's what we're doing. He's giving me every reason to believe in what I believe in. And he's giving me every reason to question what I'm questioning. So I'm not tripping over it. I'm taking my time.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're just students.
Yeah.
You know? Someone called Jesus rabbi.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
At the end of the day, he's a teacher.
It is very interesting. But yeah, that's why I brought it up, because some things cannot be rationalized.
Yeah, for sure.
By the same logic. Well, we've chosen mathematics and science, right, to be our most concrete form of evidence.
Correct.
And not that we've almost dismissed completely the word of mouth because of how,
Well, yeah. Well, after that, you can argue. Well, you can argue that it's in principle, right?
Yeah.
It's
I agree.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I'm having like, what's the pointism right now?
Well, I mean, I think I think we should be okay with having the what's the pointism mentality, because then
speak on that.
Because then I think we could really question the rest of it. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Exploring it is the difference.
Yeah.
You can't just have what's the pointism and go arms up and give up.
Correct. So at the end of the day, it's like, hey, yeah, there may not be a point.
Right.
Plain and simple. This is something that may trigger people, but there may not be a purpose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people also pursue their lives for a purpose.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to use both words.
Yeah.
Pun intended, I guess. But yeah, what if there is no purpose?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, but here's the thing. Realizing, back to the whole reality thing, the fact that there is a vastness, right, is part of our reality.
Yeah.
Regardless whether we want to accept it or not. Regardless of whether we want to analyze it or not, right? And sometimes it brings me back just thinking about it. The other day I saw the moon while the sun was out. And I was like, look at that.
The eclipse, right?
Well, I didn't actually see the eclipse. I was washing dishes. But I just saw the moon, like half of the moon from my point of view. And I was like, that's wild, the fact that even exists there. And so, I don't know. I just think that astronomy, physics, the concrete fundamentals of our reality, that's what we base it on. And then everything else is just secondary, because part of our reality is also navigating through our social construct.
Most of our reality
is
navigating the social construct.
Right?
This is why people don't look up at the Milky Way.
Correct. Or even ponder upon it.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
gotta pay rent, nigga.
Correct. So Go ahead.
Nah, I'm I'm picking up exactly what
Yeah.
you're putting down. I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm with you. There's nothing to add there.
Yeah.
You're cooking up. I'm letting you cook.
No, and so those are the things that really just really ponder my mind, you know, all like realizing the vastness of it, and then coming back and realizing that, yo, I'm realizing this as I'm doing a job, for example,
Yeah.
right? And why would I want to do this job? Why?
That's the point. Sometimes it can be so debilitating, right?
Yeah.
Listen, when I had that moment, I looked up and I was like shocked, bro. It was the first time they passed me the joint. I hit that bitch. Bro. I had to. When he passed me that and I looked up and I was like, yo, I'm stressing about
Yeah, exactly.
what I'm about to do over the next few years of my life. And look how big, look, I could see almost the dome, bro. Felt like I was like, yeah, I just felt like I was in a ball, like in the middle of a ball. Cause you can, anyways, and I was like, yo, my problems, like everything that hurts me so much is so insignificant and small.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I couldn't help but smile. I could not help but smile. But then I also remember another time where I was not in the best headspace. And I used to do this thing back when I lived in the city, where whenever I would get like very like worked up mentally, I used to just choose a direction and I used to just run in that direction. And this time we lived in like a University Avenue, so very close to the Heights. And this time I was running towards Jersey. I ran all the way to the bridge. I got like halfway to the bridge, Fort Lee, like almost at Fort Lee in Jersey. And I stopped because I was out of breath. I couldn't fucking breathe to catch my breath. And I was like, okay, this is the point where I run back. So I'm catching my breath and I look up again. And the light pollution was bad, but it was enough to see the sky again.
Yeah.
Not to the extent I got to see it at the place, but I'm looking up and I'm like, yo, nothing really fucking matters, bro.
Yeah.
But there's a difference in my mindset at the moment, right? Because in that moment, I was just like, yo, fuck everything, bro. Why am I even going to run back? For what even run back? I actually walked the rest of the way back. And in that moment, it was so counterproductive to look up and see that, because it made me feel even smaller than my problems had already made me feel. And it was so crippling. And the fact that I couldn't even really comprehend what was happening up there in front of me was also crippling. And yeah, it was just so counterproductive to look up into the sky, because it made me feel even more frustrated with everything. I just wanted to punch the air. And no, I would get nothing back from that.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It was pointless in even doing that. And yeah, just what's your? I see you guys wondering.
No, because it's interesting that the same view or different view of the same thing, for example, would be able to cause
two completely different thought processes after, right?
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, after I saw it at the lake, I remember feeling like, yo, YouTube's about to go crazy. I'm gonna I can't wait to go back and start dancing again. Ripley Greer, I gotta take all these classes for cheap. I'm gonna work as an EMS provider so I could take classes, make more videos, maybe travel. And then the time I saw it at the bridge, I was just like, yo, fuck this. What's the point of anything?
What if the point is that there is no point? So you make your own point.
It's getting real existential.
Yeah. I mean, in reality, nothing does matter.
I was gonna say, finish that sentence.
Yeah, I'm just like, I didn't want to say it, but in reality,
is that really how you feel?
Well, it's a truth, for sure. Because then here's what happens, right?
Yeah.
Something only matters to us, to each individual person.
Yeah.
And so each one of us has our own things that may matter or may not matter, right? Taking religion aside, right? In the vastness of the universe, we're just specks even our mere existence, when you analyze it for X amount of years in comparison to the uh the lifespan of the current universe that we have,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah. I think a lot of it boils down to how well you are navigating our social construct, and also the values you choose to perceive as
For sure.
your perceived value in life in general.
Exactly.
Some people's perceived value is worship, in God, and I think people who find that, and
It's almost like, what do you want to do with this time that was given to you?
right. Yeah. It is almost that, and it's just all about proving your point or making a statement or just enjoying the ride while you're here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, find what you love and let it kill you, man.
Find what you love and let it kill you.
That's not me. That's I got that from a Danny Trejo documentary.
How was the Jordan Peterson event?
Oh. Okay, so for the listeners, I recently went to listen to Jordan Peterson's lecture on his new book coming out, or I believe it dropped already. It's called We Who Struggle with God. And We Who Wrestle with God, sorry. And let me tell you, it was a very eye-opening event. It almost felt like I needed to be there. I don't know what he's doing up there, but he's cooking up. Up. And I learned so many things about myself. And one of the immediate takeaways is I always wondered, like, how God has presented himself in my life, right?
Okay.
And because people always tell me, like, yo, God is with you, bro. Like, I don't know. Even people that don't even really, like, believe in religion much or practice any religions, they hear my story and they're like, yo, nah, like, there is a God, bro.
Yeah,
He's with you. He got your back.
Facts.
And I've always wondered, like, okay, like, how else has he presented himself other than that one instance where he saved my life? And Jordan Peterson answered that immediately. How God presents himself in people's lives. And he used the story of, I think it was Moses, the burning bush.
Yeah.
And he talks about, you know him, he overcomplicates everything in his sentences. But, he talks about how God will always present himself to man through the call to adventure.
Wow.
And Moses' adventure was the burning bush. Noah's adventure was the ark. It goes on and on and on and on and on.
Oh my
And
God.
I was thinking to myself, I said, my immediate thought was, wow, this motherfucker has called many adventures to me.
Yeah.
Because I was a model, I was a dancer, I'm an EMS provider, I'm a banker now. What, bro? And then and then romantically speaking also, I've had my fair share. And I'm just here like, bro, wait, I got more questions. But it was a lecture and there was hundreds of people, hundreds of people there. So I couldn't ask him further about me personally. So I had to kind of just like shut up and listen. And I was very sad by that. I wanted to ask,
of course,
like, yo, what?
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, he says God presents himself. I wish I would have brought my my notes to it, but I didn't think you were gonna ask about it in the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the immediate takeaway. He talks about how people often become enslaved to their conviction. About how that is very likely so in leaders. He talks about how pride equals friction. He talks about how there is a zone of proximal development, and that's what he likes to call it. It's where you are called to action, and he talks about how you are the greatest version of yourself when you are burning. And he used burning by comparing something on fire to your metabolism, you moving, your brain moving.
Yeah. Kinetic energy.
Yeah. And he also talks about how most of the happiest moments in your life will come from your deepest commitments. And those deepest commitments are often adventures God called you on. Yeah, bro.
Whoa.
And then he uses the story of Cain and Abel and the book of Job.
Yep.
To talk about how you shouldn't wag your finger at God and demand answers from him.
Right.
No matter how angry you are with him. You shouldn't compare. You shouldn't compare lives ever. And use Cain and Abel for that a lot. Because Cain was very spiteful of his brother.
Yep.
And it was because he was a gross person. He was not a good person at heart. He was a very, very spiteful person. And he describes someone who is spiteful as, he describes spite, if you will, as being frustrated at the standard and ideal you're being held to.
Repeat that one more time.
The spite Cain had for Abel in the Bible, he described it as Cain being frustrated with the ideal and the standard he was being held to.
Interesting.
But God wasn't holding him to that standard. God was holding him to his own individual standard.
Mm-hmm.
Cain was holding himself to the standard of his brother. And thus caused and gave him all of that psychological friction he was having, which led to him killing his brother. Yeah, it made him hate his own blood.
Perspectives.
Yeah, because of his spite. And he was unable to see why exactly.
Why God didn't really...
Yeah, he was mad at God for quote-unquote favoring Abel, but God wasn't favoring Abel. God favors, and he talks about this also, allegedly, God favors as whoever tries their absolute best. So as long as you're absolutely trying your best, no matter what, you will be favored by God or the universe, whatever it is you believe in.
That's beautiful.
You will be favored no matter what. And
shit.
Yeah. And so Cain did not try his best. It says it in the Bible. He knew he could have done better. And where were they, like shepherds or something like that?
Yeah.
And his sacrifices towards God, he could have done better.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He chose not to because he saw Abel was getting away with this. So he was just like, I'm going to just do that.
Yeah, I think he was like a farmer or something.
Yeah, he had the ability to do better than Abel, but chose not to because Abel is what he was holding himself to, because God was favoring Abel. But Abel's best was not Cain's best. So it gets very, very deep. It was very beautiful. I was lucky to be there. And I wrote a lot of stuff down. They asked him what was his favorite quote from the Bible. And he said he has a lot, but his number one favorite one is the truth shall set you free. Yeah, and when they asked him why, it was beautiful. I wanted to ask him so many questions. I had like a bunch of them ready just to see if they would ask me.
Yeah.
Because I believe it was at random, or I believe it was part of the Patreon service. But on the flyer and stuff, they tell you to have a question ready. And so I didn't get to ask my question. But he said that the truth will always be the path, will always lead you down the path of least psychological friction in life, no matter if you're a believer or not. He says, why lie? Why put more of a burden on your shoulders? You already have the burden of being alive and being human.
Yeah.
Given to us by Eve and Adam, right?
Right.
So, debatable
for sure.
But why lie? And he said he thinks that if he can give, one piece of advice to everybody in the world, it would just be that. Live in your truth.
Yeah.
What you like, go for it. What you don't like, don't put up with it. Yeah, bro. And there's like two more that I wrote down that I can't.
Nah, bro. There's no way that you could.
I could fully grasp right now.
Sure.
But there was so much, bro. So much.
That's
that
incredible. I'm glad you went.
Yeah, I cried twice.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy, bro. Yeah.
Nah, that dude is on a whole different level for sure.
Yeah.
When it comes to his,
just the way the man structures his sentences.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
so easy to miss something if you don't pay close attention.
Correct. Not only that, but he's very witty.
Yeah.
He's fast.
Yeah, he's smart.
Yeah, he's smart.
He also went off on a crazy tangent at the end when they asked him a question. I forget the question, but he started talking about how birth control ruined the fabric of our society. He spoke about how it gave us pleasure with no consequence, and it opened up an avenue for a million things to come through. And now we are so far into it that our society will crumble without it.
For sure.
Without it. And
it liberated the
and he's so witty. He is so witty. He made everybody. He made people laugh. During a lecture about wrestling with God. Or wrestling with your significance, because that's really, really what it was. It was a mixture of people there. I saw kids younger than me. It was beautiful, beautiful. I went in a suit. It was the first time I wore a full suit.
Beautiful.
To an event.
He always says to go to his events.
Yeah, it was up. Yo, I saw a kid in Converse jeans, a belt that didn't fit him, a button-up shirt that didn't fit him, oversized, and a tie that was too long. He had this crazy scruffy hair. He had these beat, nasty-looking Converse. He had a book bag on. I remember looking at him. We locked eyes, and I looked away because I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable or anything like that, because he was a smaller guy. He was a teenager. By himself, bro. By himself. And I also saw people come out of, like, Beamers and really nice Mercedes, Cadillacs rolling up.
What?
People getting out. Women in beautiful, beautiful dresses. Men coming out in suits that look like they fit like a glove, bro. You know that shit's expensive.
Yeah.
Just even if it's from Express, just the way it fit you, I can tell is expensive. Like watches that I couldn't even tell what brands they were. You know what I mean? Like
that's insane.
The demographic of people who went was beautiful, bro. I remember that was the most adult I felt in my life. I got a rum and cranberry.
Okay.
It was beautiful, bro. Yeah. It was great.
That's great, man. I'm really happy you went. I mean, think about that. Think about the impact that he's doing.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I saw a monk there.
Wow. I was thinking about a conversation with the monk.
I saw people with hijabs there. I think that's how you say it. I saw people with hijabs, and he's a Christian man, and he's got Muslims coming in, rolling in, and listening to him. And it was just such a beautiful experience. And I genuinely think that if you find the talk of God and religion to be very, like, not sexy, I think that you would still be able to listen to that lecture without a problem. Yeah. Because he does just as much of a good job at inputting the psychology behind the thought processes of the people he's talking about. The last question I remember he was asked, he said, "Why the Bible?" You know, you're a clinical psychologist with years and years of experience. You had your own private practice. Why would you believe? Why the Bible? And I'm gonna butcher this, but I wrote it down word for word exactly how he said it. He says something along the lines of, the practicality of the metaphors listed in this book make them moral codes that we should all abide by. You remember when I told you one of my best things that I love about the Bible, about Jesus, is that he discusses in parables. Yeah. Which is, in essence, are metaphors. Metaphors, yeah. That was his exact answer. I think I didn't butcher it. Yeah. He said the fact of the practicality behind these metaphors is what makes these metaphors a moral code that we should follow. And I was like, right? Like, talk about a mic drop. I'm like, holy shit. Damn. He ended it on that note. Wow. He ended it on that note. He thanked the gentleman for coming out and challenging him and asking him questions, and asking him some of the questions that the audience and his peers had for him. Yeah. Shout out to Jordan Peterson. He saved my life for sure. Yeah. That man's a genius, bro. Yeah. That dude is insane. It brings me back to so many different things we probably don't even have time to discuss, but one of the things that, as a response to what you were saying, was that the ability to structure sentences, and one of the things that he teaches is to be able to think and to be able to articulate your thoughts. Yeah, it is powerful. Yeah, right. He says it's almost more powerful than going to the gym. Correct.
There is a scene in Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
right? Not sure if you've ever watched it,
No,
but
yeah.
there's a scene in Game of Thrones, beautiful scene, and and in the books, it also touches on it, where two men are at war, right? The Lannisters and the Starks, and a gentleman from the Lannisters, he's like the head honcho, like he is the patriarch, the head of the family, the Lannisters,
Yeah.
right? And he's at war with the current head of the Starks, and the Starks have been beating him, right, through various different mini wars, guerrilla tactics, etc., etc., etc. And eventually, the young gentleman, he gets married. He is promised, for him to pass a bridge, he makes a promise to the holder of the bridge that he will marry one of his daughters, right? Because think about it, it's a symbol. One of my daughters is not a Stark, right?
Yeah.
He agrees. Within his campaign of war, he marries another woman,
Yeah.
right? Now it's an insult,
Yeah.
right? Because you were betrothed to one of this gentleman's daughters.
Yeah.
You just broke the pact, and the reason why you said yes was because you needed to cross the bridge in order to go to war, right? Think how complex this is.
Yeah.
He gets married, and then he comes back for a dinner, right? And the Lannisters, knowing this information, he writes a letter to the father, the
owner of the bridge.
the owner of the bridge, to pass through. He sends a letter, and I don't know if I want to spoil it for you.
Just go ahead.
Yeah, so it's called the Red Wedding, right? Because when the gentleman came back, they had a dinner, and the guy who owns the bridge slaughters the family, the Stark family, slaughters them. Him and basically everybody that was a Stark there, right? And the reason why he did this was because he got a letter from the Lannisters stating that you will get my support if you were to do this. What he has done to you was an insult to your name and your family. Take him out. And I remember analyzing that scene where his son comes in and he says, "Father, we're at war. Why are you writing letters?" And that's when he says, "Sometimes the pen is mightier than the sword." And to me, I was like, oh my God, this guy just ended an entire war through a letter, right?
Yeah.
The ability to articulate, discuss, project your message, speak in generals, fill out the sentences, etc., etc., etc. It's a gift. It's a superpower.
Yeah, it is. It is 100%. What I would add to that and have it go hand in hand with that is the ability to reflect also. So a lot of people know how to talk. They don't know how to look inside, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Analyze.
I think that, I would add the ability to reflect and really reflect, because there can be like surface level reflecting, like my favorite color is red and sometimes purple or brown, but no, I'm talking like deep.
Like, think about the fact that the galaxies.
Yeah. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably one of those thinkers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think we're sexy to people who don't often like analyze as deeply as we do.
Yeah, that's one of the things. That's one of the biggest compliments that we've gotten from the podcast.
Yeah. I haven't gotten compliments per se. I know I said that earlier, but I've noticed now that I'm thinking more about it, people just want to talk to me more.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I noticed that people just like tell me like, yo, people. So it's happened twice already. People that I haven't spoken to in years, they just message me like, yo, like,
What's up?
I'm happy for you.
Oh, that's
like,
good.
I listened to episode 2.
What?
And I'm just like,
Yeah.
thanks, man. How
Yeah.
are you? And they're like, yo, I'm good. Yo, your episode made me think of a time where I was like feeling this way. And then I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, we're here.
But at the end of the day, guys, bringing it all back, this is our reality,
Yeah.
right?
Way to bring us back to it.
Everything that we have discussed all falls within our own reality. The mere fact, whether you have a perspective of what's the pointism,
Yeah.
whether you need to follow or find a purpose in your life, that's all within your control, you know.
Within reason.
Within reason, for sure.
Because what I would add to that is also be mindful and courteous to yourself. For real. Because I'm not in your head with you. Joel's not in your head with you. Nobody is.
You're the only one that gets to experience your experience.
That says it all right there.
That's it.
And you should be courteous 100% to yourself. Be kind to yourself. And learn how to articulate yourself.
Learn how to articulate and find the beauty. Remember to smell the roses.
Yeah.
You know?
Because if
because
you don't have any, plant the seeds.
Because one day the Andromeda galaxy is going to crash. And the sun is going to
fucking die, right?
It's going to take over. So, but I think this has been an incredible podcast.
Yeah. If you made it this far, thank you guys so much for listening. We love you so much, and keep the DMs coming in, whether it be to the page or to one of us personally. I appreciate them. So does Joel.
Yeah.
We're here for you if you ever want to talk.
And we love this.
Yeah, it's why we're doing this. We wouldn't be doing it if we didn't care to have conversation about it. But on a serious note, Joel, take us home.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you next time. Peace.
Bye.